You're watching TVC Breakfast. Now to the next leg of our discussion. From health, education, commerce to agriculture, information and communications, technology has been a major drive that aids the growth of many sectors in Nigeria. While the ICT industry has continued to play a pivotal role in the country's gross domestic product and created more job opportunities, and in a bid to improve the growth of this sector, the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, released a roadmap for the industry, and he joins us now on the program to talk about this. Dr. Tijani, it's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast this morning. And a few days ago, you released much talked about, policy documents detailing all that you intend to achieve as, the Minister, Honorable Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy. Let's begin with the five-pronged pillars that you have also stated you will focus on, talking about knowledge, policy, infrastructure and innovation. Walk us through what you intend to achieve under these pillars.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you for the opportunity to share. I'd like to start by highlighting that the strategic blueprint that we've put out actually took inspiration from the President's directive and agenda, the renewed hope agenda for this government. And at the heart of that agenda is really the desire to help build a more prosperous Nigeria. That is prosperous for all. I think that's something that came out really strongly across board. That the agenda in itself and its desire for growth is based on inclusive growth. That we're not only growing as a nation, but we're growing in a way where we're carrying people along. And that's the inspiration for what we've developed. So the strategic blueprint that you're referring to or you've referred to is building upon the renewed up agenda, but most importantly, the assets and growth and gains that we've made within the information and communication technology sector in the country. As you rightly described, this is a sector that contributed over 18% to the GDP last year. Across Africa, when you look at funding to technology startups, Nigeria is actually the top destination. Last year, about $5 billion was invested. Nigeria alone took almost 20% of that total out of all the 50-plus countries in Africa. So what we've built as a strategic agenda, from talking to a lot of the stakeholders in the sector, from taking brief from all the agencies within the ministry, and also looking at what's been done in the past, is a strategic blueprint that is providing guidance for everyone that is involved in the sector on how we're going to come together to drive the inclusive growth that the President would like to see in the next 4 years. And at the heart of that, the foundation of our strategic blueprint is what we've called knowledge, recognizing that you cannot develop any society or any sector without the prerequisite know-how that you need to do that. So we need a strong workforce to be able to drive the growth we want to see in the sector. But not just locally only. Globally, this is a sector that is doing really well. But unfortunately for the sector, it's a sector that also requires significant amount of people to power its activities. But the Western country, as you may already know, is declining when it comes to population. But not only is it declining, the population is also aging as well. And this is where we have a unique opportunity as a continent, but also most importantly as a country. On the continent, 40% of our 1.2 billion people are young people under the age of 25. But when you bring that statistics to Nigeria, it's actually 60% of our over 220 million people are under the age of 25, which means we do have the ingredient that we need to be able to power innovation and technological development in Nigeria, but also globally as well. So as we put resources into building the workforce that is required to drive the innovation that we want to see, we also recognize the opportunity that we can become a net exporter of technology talent. Not only can we grow the talent and groom the talent that we need locally, we can also supply talent to the world. Then the second part of that strategic blueprint is actually focused on policy. That now that we have a pro-business president and government, that we should be looking at the role of policy not just from regulating and stifling innovation, but that we look at the role of policy as an opportunity to open up our economy for more innovators and technology entrepreneurs to actually do business and thrive. And the reason for this is not just because we only want to encourage businesses. Of course, if we encourage businesses, they're going to create jobs, add value to our GDP. But I think most importantly, technology entrepreneurs and innovators are the people that we need to help diversify our economy. Because when we apply technology significantly in the critical sectors of our economy, we can raise productivity. And by raising productivity in these different sectors, they can begin to contribute tremendously to our economy and also create job opportunities as well. So this is why we're reimagining policy as a way of enabling innovators and entrepreneurs, which is the second pillar. The third pillar is actually something that we've called infrastructure, recognizing that you can't have a strong digital economy, you can't make the most of technology if you don't have the backbone, which is infrastructure. And Nigeria is in a very unique place. Unique in the sense that we're one of the few countries in Africa with seven submarine cables. So submarine cables are the cables that allow internet to come to different parts of the world. And we're one of the few countries on the continent with 7 submarine cables. And we also have 2 more cables that is just landed as well, which is going to take that number to 9. So the prerequisite investment that is required to actually ensure that broadband connectivity is across the country is already there. We just need the last mile investment to allow investors to help us invest in ensuring that every part of the country is covered with fiber optic cable. And once we do this, the benefit of having fiber across the country is that the quality of connectivity is going to go up significantly, whether it's the calls that people make or the ability of people to connect to the internet. It's also going to become cheaper as well. And as it becomes cheaper, we find a situation where our people, regardless of where they are in the country, can actually be connected to the global economy, which is being powered by digital technologies today. And the fourth part of the pillar is something that we've called innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital. Recognizing that even if we do 1, 2 to 3, we still require the best of our best to be able to come up with smart ideas that can help us leverage all that investment that we've done in those first 3 pillars. We require the entrepreneurs amongst ourselves to be able to build businesses that can create jobs and leverage the infrastructure that we're investing in. And at the same time as well, they need capital. We need to ensure that people have access to opportunities to invest. If they have access to capital, they can then, of course, build businesses that can become sustainable, that can create job opportunities, but at the same time, add value to the society as well. So this is the fourth pillar. And the way we're imagining that is making sure that policy can allow foreign investors to bring capital in, but also that government can we can put our skin in the game and encourage local entrepreneurs to build. And by doing so, we want to increase the number of locally domiciled technology companies also in Nigeria, because we've had great technology companies being built out of this country. Flutterwave is a fantastic example. Paystack is doing amazingly well as well. We've seen companies like IHS, starting out of Nigeria, but growing significantly to becoming one of the top 5 infrastructure companies, technology infrastructure companies in the world, not just in Africa. And we've seen the growth of giants like MTN off the back of the fantastic business they've been doing in the country. Glo, Airtel, a lot of the telecommunications companies. So we do know that our land is a fertile place for entrepreneurs, and we want to support that to ensure that we can see more people growing technology businesses in Nigeria. And lastly, of course, is something that we've called trade. As we help these companies to become stronger, to grow, to take advantage of the opportunities that we have to build formidable businesses, we also want to encourage and support them to be able to trade as well, because trade is also how we deepen the complexity of our own economy. If our companies can sell to other countries, it gives us the chance to broaden, create more jobs locally, deepen our GDP to where we want it to be, but also ensure that that collective prosperity that we're trying to drive is actually achievable as well.
Quite interesting, and the way you elucidated, all of these, what they call the pillars, which you are planning to work on. Could you talk to us about this particular idea behind the what we see on the NITDA website, which is the 3MTT? What does it really seek to achieve?
So the 3MTT is speaking to the first pillar in our strategic blueprint, because what we're going to do over the next 3 to 4 years is to meticulously implement and work with partners to deliver projects that will help us achieve the targets that we've set for ourselves under those 5 pillars. And the first pillar, which is the foundation, which is knowledge, in it is a significant demand and understanding of the need for us to train a large pool of technical talent. So we've set a target for ourselves that we want to train 3 million technology talents in Nigeria, because we know that the market is growing to absorb them locally, but also there's global demand for this talent. So the 3MTT is that initiative that is focused on training 3 million technology talents. And we just launched it today, actually. We've also released yesterday an implementation framework that will ensure that when we talk about training 3 million people, that this is not just a conversation that is based on throwing numbers out there to excite the populace, that we understand that the 3 million people we're talking about are our people. They are individuals, they are lives. And if we're able to use our resources and the network that we have, but also partners to help these people become technology talent, that we can create opportunities for them. And as we create opportunities for them and their families, we can also create opportunity for the nation as well, because if they're gainfully employed, they can add value to the society. If they're gainfully employed, they can add value to the companies that they work for. So that's what that program is about, and we're encouraging young people across all the states in Nigeria, including FCT, to go onto that website to apply for the opportunity to become a fellow. As a fellow, what you're going to get is that we have partner training institutions across the country that would actually be training these fellows on probably about 10 different technological skills. So you can pick the one you like. If you want to become a software developer, there's an opportunity for you to learn. The government will support you. If you want to become a product developer, there's an opportunity for you to learn. The government will support you. If you want to become a cloud engineer, the opportunity is there. And these are skills that are in demand, across the world, not just in Nigeria.
Right, and NIPOST falls under your mandate. Walk us through your plans to revamp, NIPOST under the leg of infrastructure within your blueprint document.
No, absolutely. NIPOST is an exciting development for us as a nation, if I can say. The investment that has gone into NIPOST historically is significant. NIPOST has probably close to 5,000 outlets all over the country. There's no other institution that is able to reach our people regardless of where they are in this country as good as NIPOST. And the mandate that we have is to reimagine what NIPOST is to society. We do understand that NIPOST can become the last mile hub where our citizens can access government services. It can become a last mile hub where citizens can access financial services. It can become a last mile hub where citizens can actually participate in the digital economy. So if we get the opportunity to digitize it, which is the mandate that we have now, and we have the backing of the president to go ahead and do that, whereby each NIPOST location becomes a franchise, and a small business can apply to government to run that franchise. We will have partners in the middle that will help us build the technology that will connect all the different NIPOST locations, but also manage the franchise program as well. And what we're going to end up doing with that is empower more of our small businesses to become those that run, this NIPOST location. They will get the opportunity to create value locally, but they will also get the opportunity to employ people in their locality as well. What this will bring is the opportunity, for instance, for a farmer that has goods to export or sell to consumers in Abuja and Lagos to easily be able to export their goods, their produce, from, say, Funtua to Lagos, because NIPOST is now a lot more efficient and NIPOST can connect the nation easily. That's the role we're seeing for the new NIPOST. And we just, a new PMG was just announced, I think, 2 days ago. Our hope and aspiration is that I'm going to be working quite closely with this PMG to ensure we can deliver this. This model is not new. It's been done in Lagos before with waste management. Waste management in Lagos became efficient. Actually, I believe it started while our president was the governor of Lagos State, and subsequently it's been developed and built upon, where you have a situation where the trucks that actually go around the entire state picking up waste is modeled after a franchise model, where small businesses get the opportunity to acquire these trucks, then tie the trucks to the government, and it's then managed centrally, picking up waste. And that's been a model that has been successful. And that's the model that we're hoping that we can use to reimagine, but also redefine the role of NIPOST for Nigeria as well.
Dr. Tijani, let's put you on hold. On TVC Breakfast, we've been speaking with the Honorable Minister for Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, and he's been reeling out plans to revamp the ICT sector through a five-pronged agenda. And now we are talking about the 3TT program that the Honorable Minister has, spoken about. That's the 3MTT program, which the Honorable Minister just announced in the past couple of minutes. Ibrahim, you want to build up on that point?
So I'm still at sea as regards the 3MTT, and I feel a lot of people want to ask more questions because they'll say, I'm getting into technology, I want to gain more from the ICT world. And we know what we've done when it comes to, before you even, took up this appointment. And congratulations, once again on that. What is the need for someone who is really interested in ICT? For instance, someone who wants to get into UX design, UI UX design, software development, data analysis, visualization. How can people like that, how can they key into this newly launched platform that you're bringing out?
No, thank you for that question. Yesterday we released our implementation framework, and the implementation framework, is to explain how we intend to actually achieve the 3 million. It is one thing to say we want to train 3 million people. It's another thing for us to be able to demonstrate that we actually understand how we're going to go about it. So that framework speaks to a model that we created, which we've tagged 1% to 10% to 100%. So in the next 3 years, where we want to be is train 3 million people. But we know we're not going to start with 3 million immediately. And it's also not effective to actually aim to do that because you don't get the chance to learn whether you're spending taxpayers' money effectively. Also, if you throw the 3 million into the loop all at once, you're not going to learn whether the people that you're actually supporting are properly getting trained and they're able to get jobs as well. Remember, the goal here is not just to train people. It's also to ensure that there's placement and job opportunities for them. So that model gives us the chance to start immediately today in the next 3 months to focus on training 30,000 young people, but also anyone that wants to learn as well across Nigeria. And what we've done is we've broken down that 30,000 across all the states in the country. So you see that the number then becomes extremely achievable. We have some states where our mandate in the next 3 months is to train, 600 people. We have states like Lagos where the mandate based on the population and the economic activities and the opportunity for jobs there, where the mandate is to train 1,000 or 1,500. You have places like Kanu, again, based on the population, where the mandate is to train significantly high number of people. And what we're doing with that is government is not the one doing this training. We've identified, training startups and training organizations in the country. We also have a form for those that we've not identified to actually apply because we want to make this as robust and transparent as possible. So these organizations have the chance to apply to become the training partners in different parts of the country. And the fellows would then be placed with these training partners. We will be tracking actively with each partner how many people they are training, whether these people are being well-trained to the point where they can actually qualify to be able to apply for jobs after they've been trained. And that lesson is what's going to take us to the next phase of the 10%, where we will then, in about 3 to 4 months' time, continue the application for 300,000 people across the country. Again, these 300,000 people will be broken down according to states, right? So every state will have the opportunity for their people to participate. And from there, once we learn in the next 12 to 18 months, is where we then scale to reach our target of 3 million. And we've already seen a lot of states that are doing well in this area already. Some of them are already keen on participating and partnering with the federal government. Imo State is a state that is in the front. They're doing quite a number of things in that space. Lagos State has also been investing significantly. You have states like Kwara State that they've also invested in the infrastructure that will allow these trainings to be able to happen. So there's so many states, and those states is also done significantly in this area as well. So we know there's that opportunity for us to not only collaborate with private partners, but also the state to ensure we can achieve the objective that we set for ourselves.
Right. So my takeaway from you is that you believe that Nigeria can be a major supplier of tech talent, but a concern from what we've seen so far is the need for Nigeria to also retain this talent. And, one wonders how you're working to ensure that.
I think the way to retain talent is ensuring that there's opportunities for them locally, which is why you will see in our strategic blueprint that we've put a significant focus on encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship, right? And we're also ensuring that there's capital for these entrepreneurs to actually build their businesses locally. The reality is when you look across Africa or even globally, the opportunity for a technology business to be successful in Nigeria is extremely high. We've seen what Flutterwave is done. We've seen what Andela is done. I mentioned IHS earlier. You've seen what they've done as a company that started in Nigeria and is one of the top 5 companies in technology infrastructure globally, not only in Africa. That was built out of Nigeria. So entrepreneurs understand that the opportunities are there. The way to keep our talent locally is ensuring that there's great job opportunities for them. And this is what technology, brings to the table in our efforts to ensure that our economy is inclusive, that we can retain talents that can help us power the economy. But also, let's not take away the fact that countries like India, at some point, actually became the net exporter of technology talent, which is why today, if you look at the top 10 technology companies in the world, a significant number of them are being led by people of Indian heritage, of Indian descent. Nigeria has the opportunity to also, be in this position as well. So our goal is not to say, people can't get the chance to work for companies abroad. We're hoping that a lot of them can do this remotely because this is now a possibility. But we also understand that some of them will get the chance to go work abroad. And what we look to doing is ensuring that there's a bridge for them to continue to also contribute to the development of technology locally as well.
Well, my concern is the fact that now we're seeing more of AI, artificial intelligence, cropping into Nigerian system, and we even see the younger ones who are leveraging this platform to also develop robots and here and there. But some are saying that this poses a challenge for them in the future to helping them to critical thinking, thinking deeply in order to solve some difficult solutions because they have technology working for them, in this regard. So how do you think, how are you planning to harness this creativity, innovation, but not to make them retarded in using their own skills in solving critical problems?
That's an interesting question and one that, most people tend to ask. But one thing I would say is that technology has always been there with humans since time immemorial. If you follow the different industrial revolution, you probably recognize the role that technology played in the first, second, third industrial revolution. But the reality is that technology can only continue to make our lives better. Humans will always be needed to do more advanced thinking. Even though technology can process a lot more data and provide intelligence, humans will always be required to ensure that our world is what it is and it continues to grow. So as against being afraid of technology, what we need to recognize is that technology will take away mundane things that we don't need to use our brains for, mundane things that humans doesn't have to spend time doing. So artificial intelligence is not going to make us more redundant or not be able to apply our brain as you've put it. I think what AI is going to do is to ensure that what is already known, we can gain easy and direct access to it and use that intelligence as we take decision. And that's the real problem in our strategic blueprints as well. There's something we've put there on artificial intelligence where we want Nigeria to become a leader in AI in the world, to become one of the leading countries in AI in the world. And the reason for this is that if we're not participating in the development of these technologies, that is going to have significant implications for society, that is going to have the opportunity to support society, that our own history and voice is not going to be taken into consideration. Artificial intelligence rely on data, And if our data is not connected, if Africa and developing countries don't participate in ensuring that the data that is feeding artificial intelligence includes our own data and history and reality, we'll be left behind. So part of what we're driving is to actually start to create artificial intelligence jobs. Yesterday, a company called Awari actually launched a program where they're looking to start training and employing AI workforce locally. By AI workforce, these are people that will end up training the artificial intelligence model, which is what is powering the AI phenomenon globally. So we're going to see significant number of jobs being created in Nigeria focused on AI. I know Awari is launching in Lagos in probably around 200 jobs. They also have plans with Imo State government to launch a number of jobs there as well that is focused on artificial intelligence. As we participate in this, the development of this phenomenon, in this technology, our reality is going to be taken into consideration, and our people is going to be able to use the technology more effectively, not to dumb down the way they participate in the economy, but to use it to be able to contribute to the economy even more effectively.
Right, but of course, you know that, ICT is visible in terms of its potential across other sectors like education, health, agriculture, environment. We can see that you're excited about the 3MTT initiative, and it does seem to carry a lot of hope. But are we going to see more inroads or more utilization of 3MTT across these other critical sectors of the country?
No, absolutely. Again, if you look at the strategic blueprints, we clearly stated under innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital that while we're investing, we actually want to invest to support the entrepreneurs to build technologies that we can apply in the sectors that you've mentioned, the sectors that are critical to the development of our economy. The classification broadly will be, you see a lot of sectors under agriculture, industry, but also services as well. But when you break that down, there's so much more subsectorial activities. And our goal is to ensure that these entrepreneurs and innovators are actually building solutions, technology solutions that can help change the way we do business in those areas. In agriculture, artificial intelligence can help to make large farmers, even small farmers, to be a lot more effective in the way they farm. By being a lot more effective, it can ensure that the output of how they cultivate and their land is a lot more, rewarding as well to them. So you're going to see a lot of technology in that space. One other thing we're doing to ensure that we can actually apply technology across critical sector is creating something that we've called the sandbox. What the sandbox does is to allow innovators to build technology solutions in areas where policy at the minute does not permit it. And that sandbox is then a controlled environment where we can work with them, we can monitor what they're doing, and we can ensure that if there's a need for us to update our policies, we can update our policies effectively. Where there's a need for new policies, the innovation they're building can also inspire us to know new policies that we have to put in place. So we do want an environment where we're not limiting what innovation people are coming up with and how this innovation is affecting different sectors in our economy. But what we're going to do is ensure that this is properly managed as well so that we're protecting society and also the sovereignty of our nation as well.
Interesting.